Hello and welcome. Now it is quite late on a random Friday evening in February, but I have been given a spark of inspiration that I must sit down and film and share with the internet. And because it is late at night, my normal film camera doesn't even see me, so we're using my fancy photography camera. The pros is cinematic view of my face. The cons is every time I move you have to hear this horrible refocusing sound. Because of that, we are going to try and sit very, very still for this video. Fortunately, I am one of those people who likes to speak with their hands, but I'm going to try and restrain myself. Don't take my lack of hand expressionism as a lack of enthusiasm for the topic I would like to share about. Anyway, now you have the weird context that I'm currently sitting in. Oh, bonus information, I have been sick all week, which is why I sound very clogged up. I actually still can't hear myself properly because my ears have been blocked for 5 days. So we'll also have to see if I can get a cohesive thought together and out of my mouth to share with you, the lovely viewer. Apparently my sickness comes with sarcasm, didn't realise that. Anyway, so I wanted to kind of talk about no-buys and low-buys. And what is interesting, something that I have noticed or observed in myself through doing it and then not doing it and then doing it again. Because I guess when did I really do a no-buy? I think it was 2020 and then 2021, maybe 2022. We could have given up in 2023, maybe tried again in 2024. We definitely gave up in 2025, which is why we're back on one. But essentially in 2025, I just spent what I wanted when I wanted. I think we did the same thing in 2024, but we didn't track any of the money, so we never really got to see the consequences of our actions. But in 2025, I did track everything, and I sat down and did all the math, and that made me overwhelmingly shocked at myself. And then it made me go, well, clearly we just have to go back on a no-buy. Financially, we don't have another choice at this point because we live in Switzerland and everything is terribly expensive, and at this point all of your savings is gone. So buckle up, this is life. But what I found really interesting is, because we've already done a month of January, is it was very easy to go back again and just be like, okay, I'm not buying anything. It's really not hard for me anymore. I can do the buy whatever I want and pay no attention, but I can also do the opposite as easily in a way. It's not challenging in the way it was when I first did it. It was so hard in the beginning. I mean, you can watch, I don't encourage you to go back and watch all those videos. It's a slog to go through them. But if you look at those videos, or you look at the wrap-up videos, I didn't just buy a lot of stuff on my no-buy. I was never that successful. If you really wanna think of the rules I had and the results where I got, definitely never effectively did a no-buy because I always bought stuff on it. But actually it was deeply effective because I now have a muscle or a capacity where I can look at the little beast of consumerism that lives within myself, but mostly lives within the world, and I can say, no, not today, time out, sit in the corner, no, a new notebook isn't going to inspire all levels of creativity and make me a new person. I already probably have one at home, and I can use that, and I definitely don't need this glorious one that's in front of me. And that's what's interesting. And that's why I would like to encourage anyone who is doing a no-buy or low-buy. It's don't give up, just keep going through it. Because even though it might feel like you're failing all the time, you are still building some strength. It's kind of like training with running or going to the gym. I don't go to the gym just because, no. I did run for some time, but also quite a lazy individual. But you do build a certain strength, and it's like an inner strength. It's not like something I can logically equate outwardly and go, oh, look at my nobody muscles. It's just like an inner capacity to be like, no, I don't need that thing. You've learned to build those thought pathways in your own mind that can keep you from buying unnecessarily stuff. And when I did my challenges, I still bought unnecessary stuff, and I went through like what one could call maybe almost like mental or emotional crises when I did break my no buy, because I would like spiral and I'd berate myself and I'd like create a whole story with the thing that I bought, and ultimately it doesn't really matter that you bought the thing. And I would encourage a little bit of berating of oneself, because I think it does build self-growth, but at the same time don't take it out of control, because that's just not useful. But to look at it, and not in a berating way, that's the wrong word, but with a little, like, with, you know, like a stern teacher. This is what you did, here are your consequences. Did you really need to do that? Maybe, maybe not. Like, just like a loving, stern, authority-ish quality. But I definitely did that a lot in my no buy, which I don't think was very useful, and I think took away from a lot of the positive energy I was getting when I did succeed at it. Because each time you succeed at not buying that thing, it's like a little dopamine hit and you feel, ooh, I did a thing. And it reaffirms this part of yourself that is the self that you're trying to build more and get stronger of. And it's interesting because even though it seems like doesn't really matter what you spend your money on at the end of the day, it's like a way that one can exert control or develop the muscle of control or discipline in one's life. And people do this in many different ways. Some insane people do it with a 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 a.m. morning routine, and that's how they prove to themselves that they have some kind of discipline or capacity. And like all of those things, it's really just proving to yourself that you want to be the person you want to be. And I don't think it's useful to go like, well, okay, I don't have a 5 a.m. morning routine, so therefore I'm an asshole. But to like look at these tiny little ways that you can succeed and know that you're going to fail a lot, but that's just a part of the process. I think there's like ultimate perfectionism, and ultimate perfectionism actually doesn't teach you a hell of a lot about yourself or life. It's all the messy mistakes. And then the fact that you keep going is a thing that like builds your strength, builds your character, makes you funny, makes you have some kind of depth or appreciation for others and the struggles that other people go through. And even though it's a no buy and it's about materialism, material things, I think you can take the material world, or you can apply rules and pressure in the material world, and that creates like a feedback loop where you can like learn about yourself, and I think that's really cool. And there's probably like a bunch of people that have written really fancy books about this and can talk about the like neuroscience of it, but I was just like thinking these things, reflecting on myself and my own process, and just like how it's useful. Like, do the thing, fail at it 100 times, but try and exceed at it 101 times. You know, like it's always comes into some kind of balance, and each little thing does help to strengthen you. And the key is to like look at mistakes, but like not as failures, just as like, oh, I didn't quite get it that day, and that, but like look at it with like acceptance and like, I am just who I am, and can I keep going? And I think that was the thing, is like I spent a lot of time berating myself, and I think I would have made more progress faster if I'd rather had a much clearer, less self-hating way of looking at mistakes. I think that's only something that I'm starting to learn now that I'm at 30 years of age and I'm maturing and wisening myself. That's not a word. And it's still something that's really hard for me to do, and I think not everyone's like this, but there is definitely a lot of people in this world where, ironically, their biggest hater is themselves. I think that's most people actually when it comes down to it. And the ones that don't do it to some extent are just delusionally very capable. That's my theory. As a self-hating individual, I don't trust the ones that don't do it, because I think there is something that we are our biggest sabotager. I think, is there a way that you can learn to accept the part of you that kind of sucks at many, many things, and just like accept your reality, and then choose to have just a little win every now and again? Can I do this a little bit better? It's like these tiny little yeses to yourself. And I'm saying that as someone who says no to themselves many times a day. But that's what it's all about. And that's why, even though who cares if you do a no buy or low buy, ultimately, yes, it can really change your life. But also, it's just another little thing to do. But I would 100% recommend to do it and just keep going, even if it's February and you've already failed like 17 times. So well, keep going. Because that's all you can do. Like, there's no point giving up. Like, life is what it is. You just keep going. Like, even if you're the last person to cross the finish line, it doesn't matter, because it's not in comparison to anyone else. You're just doing it for you. And I think with social media and this sort of comparison mindset all the time, we're always like, oh my god, we're putting in perspective to everyone else's lives. But it doesn't matter. Like, all you have to do in your life is prove yourself to yourself, and that's the best thing in the world, because you get to change the expectations when you feel like it. You get to be in charge. And most of us feel like we're not in charge and we have really very little control. But the fun thing about a tiny little challenge like a no bite or a low bite or a Project Pan is you get to have these little moments of control, these little moments of win, where you're like, oh, I'm the master of myself. And that's one way that I got to experience that, was through challenges like this. Other people can experience it through, I don't know, having a very functional morning routine and working out all the time. That's not who I am. You won't, there's no point in me trying to win in that area of my life, because I'm going to get no joy out of that. So like, find the place where you can put a structure or a restraint on yourself to change things and prove it there. But like, don't try and prove it at waking up at 4 a.m. if that's just, you're not going to be that person. You don't really want to be that person, but you see social media and you think that's how you win at life. No, you win at life by like doing your life. So there's a random thoughts at late night with excellent cinematic lens film quality. I hope that you are well. I hope that if you're doing one of those challenges, you're having fun with it. And if you're not, maybe this video has inspired you in some delusional way to try, because no one's perfect. And that's just how it goes. And we hear that a lot on the internet, but it's always very helpful to remind ourselves of that. And I'm speaking to myself. Mostly this is an inspirational video for myself, to myself, but I will now be sharing it on the internet because one lovely person sent me an email saying that the world was like brighter with my videos in it, and that just made me happy. And I responded to them, and I thought, hey, I've been thinking about this topic, this idea, now we're going to put it on the internet. Very ship-shap, no editing, straight, and let's just hope it made some coherent sense with my sickness and my lack of not filming videos for a very long time. Okay, I hope that you're well, and if you're not well, I hope that you're just taking one little step at a time, because that's currently where I am at, and it's working. Somehow. Don't know how. Okay. Bye!